Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining our Platform Privacy and Security Academy session. I'm super excited to welcome you all to learn more about today's topic around how to protect your sensitive data with cloud encryption. My name is Furqas Salim, and I'm a outbound PM in Platform Security team. I'm also joined by Kathy as a guest speaker, who is our main PM and lead on cloud encryption related products in our work. In this session, we would like to cover how to protect sensitive data in your organization with cloud encryption and highlight some of the key product capabilities along with some use cases and demos. Before I hand it over to Kathy, I would like to highlight one more important thing to let everyone in this call to be aware of. As always, we have to start by reminding you that we might talk about things that are on the product roadmap. And since we are a publicly traded company, there are rules about making forward-looking statements. So we just want to remind you to please make your purchasing decision based on the product as it exists today. With that, without any further ado, back to you, Kathy.
Great. So for our agenda today, I'll talk about the ServiceNow Cloud Encryption product. And then I'll pass the microphone back over to Furqas, and he will talk about resources, and we'll go through a Q&A. And just by the way, one of our other colleagues, Jared, is on the call with us. He will be monitoring the chat messaging, so feel free to use the chat functionality. And we'll be answering, he'll answer some of those questions during the seminar in chat, and we'll answer some of them also in the Q&A. And then there will be a survey at the end. So for cloud encryption, it's a similar product to another item in our portfolio, database encryption. So database encryption has been in the ServiceNow portfolio for a while, and the challenge with that is it's limited to only working with the MariaDB database. And ServiceNow wanted to find a performance solution that could work with multiple databases, not just MariaDB, but other databases as well. So not to tie ourselves to just one specific database technology. And our solution that we've come up with is called Cloud Encryption with Key Management. And amazingly, there are two parts to it. There's the encryption part and there's the key management part. So the encryption part, we use the native Linux approach to provision volumes, thin volumes that are secured with the Linux Unified Key Setup. The abbreviation for that is LUKS. So we're just taking advantage of native Linux capabilities. We're not doing anything super crazy or proprietary there. The key management part of things, we're leveraging services within ServiceNow, so we didn't have to re-implement that. The KMS is the key management system, and the libKMF, the library that is key management framework. And we're using both of those for our key management services. That includes things like logs about key access and the ability to have two different types of keys, the ServiceNow managed key or a customer managed key. Cloud encryption was launched in the San Diego family release, so it has been available for about a year. The common use cases for cloud encryption are where a customer has a lot of data in their environment that's considered sensitive and could potentially be needed to be protected due to regulations or other types of business changes. Another common use case is where one wants to protect information, but it's critical that functionality is not impacted. There's other products within our portfolio that encrypt fields, but then other functionality like workflow or reporting could possibly be impacted. So this is a product that does not have that type of impact on workflow reporting, things of that nature. It's also a common use case to use cloud encryption when application tier encryption is not necessary. The product can be used with an application tier encryption product. For example, COM level encryption enterprise can be used with cloud encryption. They don't interact with each other. They can be used to have layered security. It's certainly a fine option, but Those are the three most common use cases. For the features and benefits of the product, there are, again, two types of keys: the ServiceNow managed key, which we would create and manage on behalf of the customer, or the customer managed key. You have the flexibility to choose one or the other. You can switch back and forth. There's no limit to how many times you would switch back and forth. Most people will pick one and stick with it, but there's no restriction there on key type choice. On key rotation, again, it's customer's choice on when you would want to rotate your key. Many customers rotate about once a year. Sometimes there's reasons to rotate a key more frequently, but we do have the key rotation capability for both ServiceNow managed key and customer managed key. And again, no limitation, no restrictions in the software. Once a year does tend to be a common best practice for key rotation. When you look at the UI, the user interface for cloud encryption key management, you'll see three sub-items. The first being key management operations. That's where people will spend probably most of their time. That's where there's a list of the keys that are being used for cloud encryption and also historical information about those keys. The second option, the key management transactions, says details about a specific key. And then the third item, which is coming in the Utah release in a couple of weeks, is the scheduled key rotation settings. So you can set a time for rotation like every 6 months, every year. And for the ServiceNow managed key, since ServiceNow generates that, we will actually then do the rotation for you. For customer managed key, we don't have the key, so we're sending out a reminder to say, hey, you set up a schedule to rotate your key every 6 months. It's now time to do that. Please give us a new key. So, in addition, we have a couple additional options if you choose customer managed key. Again, these are not available yet. These are targeted availability in Utah in a few weeks. And they're only for customer managed key. These are not available with the ServiceNow managed key. So for cloud encryption, you can have a functionality called Cloud Encryption Withdraw and Resupply. It's a separate SKU. It's an additional SKU, and it's obviously an optional SKU. There is an additional fee involved. And customers will hold their key in their environment. And if they want to withdraw that key, that's fine. The key is withdrawn, and the instance will automatically start a shutdown operation. So the database instance will be closed. It'll be in an encrypted state. It won't be accessible by anyone. So that means, yes, not accessible by ServiceNow, and also not accessible by the customer or anybody in your organization. So it is a pretty drastic operation. We do note that the customer has to agree that they are solely responsible for the protection of their customer managed key. And ServiceNow is not going to have any liability if you can't find and maintain your key. So can be an important use case for some customers. With that responsibility comes a lot of risk. So we're just making it explicit that the risk does fall on the customer's shoulders. As an additional subpoint of withdraw and resupply, as the withdraw operation can cause such drastic change as in the instance it's not going to be available, we do have an additional option in the withdraw function called quorum control. That would prevent one administrator either by accident or maliciously starting that CMK withdrawal function. That involves having a group of folks that the administrator says are people that would be potential approvers, and then noting that the number of that group of approvers, so say there's 6 approvers, and 4 of the 6 approvers must agree that the withdrawal option should start, and then there will be a process to contact them and have that either approved or denied. So very specific features only for the customer managed key, available in Utah. So you'll be hearing more information about that as the Utah release is publicized more. And I need to get my slide to move forward. There we go. Okay, we're now off to demo time. So hang on one moment. I'm going to stop sharing this screen and I'm going to share another screen. Okay, let's go to screen share. All right, so this is a sample instance that we have, and we're going to get ready and we're going to start going to Cloud Encryption, Key Management, and specifically I'm going to the first item here, Key Management Operations. You can see here that there is a list of keys. Many of them are the ones that have already been in existence and are rotated, but then we have the one key that's active, the one that's on top. That happens to be a ServiceNow key. It was created on March 8th. And we're going to just click into this key alias to get a little more detail on this key. Again, it's the active key and the origin is ServiceNow. And other information like algorithm and key size are noted here. So I've been using this key for a few days. Again, this is not the ideal situation because it should be about a year. But let's say I do decide I need to rotate this key. So I click Rotate Key. I get a pop-up message that says you are about to rotate your key. Just to make sure, I could obviously cancel it if I needed to, but I do want to rotate the key. So I'm rotating it. I get another message that says your request has been submitted. Please check the transaction section for updates. So I'm going to just reload and get this going. Oh, well. But now it's not going to reload on me. Okay, let's see if I can get to reload again. Okay, let's go one more time. All right, and I'm rotating the key. And now reloading it. Yep, okay, so the rotation is completed, which is great. So now we can go back and we can see we have the rotated key, but now we have a new active key from the 15th. So that's all great. Now we have a new active key. And now I'm going to switch to customer managed keys. I'm not going to use a ServiceNow managed key anymore. I'm going to switch to customer managed key. Click that link. Read my information box that says I'm about to switch. I'm going to have to upload a wrapped customer managed key and then keep going with the process. Yes, I do want to do this. I don't want to cancel. So I get my wrapping certificate. I've downloaded that. I read the information that's in the documentation about how to prepare my key. And now I'm going to browse and get my key, which is there. So that's all fine. And then I can switch to customer managed key. Again, the request was submitted. Check the status, make sure that it's okay. Reload my form. And the rotation is completed. So we are all good to go. And if we look at our key management operations, we're to a customer supplied key as the active key. So that is the end of this part of the demo. And now I'm going to share my screen again. 1 second. Share screen. And we will move forward to a preview of the scheduled key rotation. This, again, is functionality that is targeted to come out in the Utah release in a couple of weeks. So you'll just be clicking on this item in the UI, the third submenu item, schedule key rotation settings. You'll come to this page that says, once enabled, you can schedule your key rotation reminders. You click the little checkbox that says enable scheduled key rotation, which will bring up a number of other fields like how many months do you want to have between your key rotations. Minimum number is 1, maximum is 60 months, which would be 5 years. 12 is the default number for the default value for that field. And then one needs to fill in the day of the week to send the rotation reminder. So perhaps people want to only have those things on a weekday or only on a Tuesday or whatever it happens to be. So that would be the field to note that information. This field will get calculated then, and there will be the date that you'll get the reminder, and that would be calculated again by the software. It's not just something that you need to fill in, and then you just hit submit over here, and then you're all set. So pretty seamless, pretty fast to set it up. If you decide to use scheduled key rotation for the ServiceNow managed key, again, we will notify you a week in advance and say, hey, you're coming up on the time that the key is scheduled to be rotated. We're going to rotate in a week. Just wanted to let you know. And if you are using customer managed key, this will be a reminder saying you scheduled the key rotation to happen every 12 months. It's almost that time. You need to provide us with a new key. Just reminder. So that is that functionality. I will now pass the microphone over to Furkat to go through our resources information.
Thank you so much, Kathy. It's a really wonderful demo.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Sure.
Team, if you have any other questions regarding to some of the highlights and some of the demo that Kathy just highlighted in this presentation, feel free to ask your question through Zoom chat, and we'll be addressing your question shortly in our Q&A session as well. So I'd like to talk a little bit about what's available in our platform privacy and security team that we are providing you currently. And we have our YouTube channel. I will add all the links to the Zoom chat right now so that you can click and watch our previous video that we recorded so far, as well as some of the incoming video that we're producing in the future as well. And also we have our own page on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, as well as we have our own podcast as well that you can follow simply by typing ServiceNow. And also we have a now learning on demand course as well, so that you can learn some of the platform privacy or security related products, especially around the Vault area, as well as some other components as well. And also we have a documentation that we have a data sheets, we have first call deck and some of the product documentation, and as well as we have a ServiceNow community page that we built recently for you so that you can get yourself up to date with all the contents around all the products that we provide, as well as some of the incoming agenda and topics that we are hosting as part of this Academy session as well. Last but not least, we have our ServiceNow.com. If you really wanted to learn about deeper around some of the cloud encryption technology, or if you want to read some of the articles, or if you want to learn more about Vault as a product with all the different components, you feel free to go to ServiceNow.com and simply type by ServiceNow Vault. You'll be seeing more contents there as well. The second that I'd like to highlight is we have our knowledge session coming up in May 15 to 19. So if you're interested in signing in, please register to our knowledge session, where we'll be hosting some of the presentation and the demo, along with all the different use cases around our platform privacy and security area as well. The last but not least, these are the incoming agenda of what we will be hosting around Platform Privacy and Security Academy session. As you're aware that we're just hosting the intro to ServiceNow Cloud Encryption in this session, as well as in May 10, we'll be having Protect Employee and Customer Personal Information with ServiceNow Data Privacy. And in June 15, we'll be having Protect ServiceNow platform with Vault. And August 15, we'll have Managing the Now platform easily and practically with your log analytics tool. And in September 15, we'll be hosting Exploring the Benefits and the Challenge of Cloud Identity and Access Management. And also we'll be having other topics down the road as well. So if you're interested in, you'll be reached out to through the registration link via email, or you'll find the registration link in our platform privacy and security community site that I just shared on the Zoom chat as well. With that, I am going to jump to Q&A session. So if you have any other questions related to overall the product that we're building here, as well as some of the content that Kathy just shared around the cloud encryption and key rotation functionality that is coming as part of Utah release, feel free to ask your question through Zoom chat. We'll be happy to answer as well.
Hey, while we wait for that to come in, Kathy, I have one that I have seen out around the community regarding existing database encryption customers. And what's up with migrating to cloud encryption? Is there a sense of urgency? Is it a painful process? What
Sure.
do we need to know for current customers of DBE?
Right. So for database encryption customers, if the product is serving folks well, there's no urgency to have to make a change. There have been some customers that have explored the option that we do have for database encryption for customer key, which is called database encryption with customer controlled switch. And that particular functionality requires people to build a gateway on their own premise, have some development work needed. And not all of our customers have developers in-house, or they have other projects that they want the developers to be working on and not necessarily work on this integration enhancement for database encryption. So if somebody has explored database encryption with customer control switch and didn't decide to go down that path because of the implementation required, I would definitely encourage them to look at the cloud encryption product, as customer managed key is much simpler. It's the interface is quite intuitive. It's easy to manage. There's nothing that you would need to build on your side. So that would probably be the use case that would be of most interest to change. If somebody is having other concerns with database encryption, I'd be happy to hear about what the challenges are.
Thank you. Yeah,
sure,
that will help me as I get that question when I'm out there in the world talking to customers and potential customers.
No worries. Great.
And then I guess I do have a follow-up, if nothing else is going to cut in line in front of it. Let's say I am a customer and I find out about this and say, I want this, I need it tomorrow, and I buy it and I request it. It's fairly straightforward as an install, but I don't believe it's I don't think it's a 2-day turnaround time. I think there's some work on our data center side. What's an estimated time to implement this?
Yes, you're right. So the machines that we use to host cloud encryption are different than the machines we use to host other instances. So we do have to make sure we have the right type of machines available for instances moving to cloud encryption, or instances being spun up for cloud encryption. So if it's a new customer, it's not a big wait time, because we do have spare capacity for new customer onboarding. It's more of a challenge with current customers who decide they'd like to move to cloud encryption, as some of our customers have quite large databases. And it's not just a 5-second thing to be able to move a large database from one machine to another machine. So there is a process involved for the current customers that does take some time. We've been working to reduce the time lag between when we have the order and when we can actually make the machines ready. For smaller customers, it is on the order from a few days to a few weeks. For larger customers, it can be a month or so kind of thing. We try not to have things linger longer than that, but our worst case scenario, we say 60 days. I've not had any customer be near that 60-day mark. But yes, you do need to plan ahead. if you're going to move to cloud encryption and you are a customer with super large databases.
Sure, that's a great answer.
Kathy, there's one question on the Zoom chat from Marco. In case customers want to schedule a key rotation for their customer managed keys, is it necessary to upload a new key beforehand?
No, so if you're using the scheduled key rotation functionality, what we'll be doing is we'll just send a reminder saying, hey, you had scheduled a key rotation reminder to come to you once every, 6 months, 12 months. So it's time. And then the process that will happen is the customer will just go through the same process that they did when they uploaded their customer managed key, the one I demoed. Get the wrapping certificate, wrap your key, and upload it to through the interface. It's not something that would have to be done in advance. You don't have to stage it. Just get it uploaded at the time that you wanted the rotation to happen. Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, if there is no other question, then I will give my thanks and appreciation to the audience. Thank you so much for joining for our chat today.
Thank you. I appreciate it for your joining, and feel free to register to our YouTube channel as well as get all the content to our community site as well. Till next time, stay tuned. Bye-bye.